Hello. This is a quick disclaimer up front just to let you know there are a few problems with the audio in this episode. We did our best to clean up my audio, but there are some weird distortions that occur approximately 4 times throughout. They only last about 2 minutes each, and it's only on my audio stream, so Ben's is all fine. Given it is listenable, we decided to still release the episode as there are some good ideas in there. Once again, I apologise for the slight audio hiccups, and with any luck they will be gone by next week. Please enjoy this live Bitstorm episode. Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me in my room is Ben Slinger.
In the Bitstorm, what did we decide? Palace?
Bit Cave.
The Bit Cave? Oh, that's good. It's like the Bat Cave.
Yeah,
you know, it's
with a bit.
But it's bit instead. Yeah, hey. I'm here. We decided to get together in the same room, do a live one. I think we're just going to do our usual shit. Play some click pitch. This will be our first episode of the new year. So, Merry New Year, everybody.
Is it our first episode of the new year? Am I going to get this done by New Year's Day?
No.
There's
that one in the buffer we have.
Yes. This is our second episode.
For the new year. Merry New Year from last week, since we didn't say it then because we recorded that one like a month earlier. Here's one we prepared earlier.
Okay.
All right, so click pitch. For those who have not listened before, this is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we will hit refresh, get a new word, and put those words together into a game design.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1, click.
Inventor.
Vengeance.
Invengeance. That's the name of it. So, I mean, it's obviously someone inventing something for some sort of vengeance-related activity.
Well, I think because we're in the Bit Cave,
okay,
then it should actually be
the
the guy who develops the stuff for Batman.
Okay. Okay. So, like, what's his name?
No, not the stupid movies with...
Well, that's not just in the movies, though, I don't think.
I'm thinking it's like you work in a factory,
all right,
and you keep on getting these orders for all these, like...
Okay, so you work for, like,
and...
Wayne Tech in their, I don't know, what construction, like, assembly line or something. Maybe you have to work your way up.
Yep.
So okay, I like this. So you're a new Batman villain, and you play from the origin story. So, like, the opening cutscene is Batman killing your parents.
Oh, shit.
Accidentally. Because, like, Batman doesn't kill, right? No. But he will just, like
maim.
Yeah, he maims constantly. He'll just, like, break your arm and leave you in a freezer or something to die, right? To freeze to death. But it's like his hand wasn't the killing blow, so it doesn't count as him killing him. So they were like collateral damage when he was taking down fucking Scarecrow or something. Like, this guy's parents were writhing on the floor with horrific images going through their head.
And the father killed himself and the wife.
Sure.
In the opposite order.
No, in that order, strangely enough. Like, that's how fucked up it was. It was like this Rube Goldberg-esque situation, and the kid's just sitting there watching in horror as the father kills himself, falls over, hits a plank, which fires a paint can up into the ceiling, knocks a chandelier down, which misses the wife, but the pieces... Misses the missus. Yes, nice one. But the pieces go flying and, like, knock over a goon who drops his gun and it shoots her. Right? And Batman's gone by this point.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's chasing after the Scarecrow. So this kid, we'll get some character creation in there. You can choose your gender and choose your look and choose your... I don't know, do you get any powers? You don't have powers. It's about inventing.
Powers.
You're an inventor.
You're an inventor.
Right. And so you go, and the first level is the interview at Wayne Tech. Like, you're like straight out of MIT or something. You've gone through college. You've just had this vengeance burning a hole in your heart throughout your whole adolescence and college years. You go, the first level is your Wayne Tech interview. So, I don't know, gameplay at this point, is this sort of an adventure game-ish sort of thing, or like dialogue puzzles here, or...
I think this is just like the intro story, the actual, like the puzzles of putting these gadgets together is what the gameplay is, for most parts.
Is this VR?
You asked.
Well, I'm only bringing it up because then you can make them watch that horrific thing from, like, first person.
Oh, and you scale, so you're looking
up.
up.
So you're looking up, you see all that happen.
And you got to follow, like, all the things that go
Well,
along.
why wouldn't you? But no, I was actually more thinking about if you're building things, like, it could be a fantastic contraption, sort of. Is that what that is? Yeah. Sort of thing. And even the interview, right? Like, you could have little things.
I'm really liking the idea that at some point you've actually got to, the virtual tweezers. So you're actually having to use the grip and the trigger.
Oh, like soft, like you can't squeeze too hard or something. Or...
Squeeze too hard, and then you're trying to place, and that to me has you've got
nice little tactile
thumb of something, and then the trigger. You could pull that in so far.
Yep.
And then
if you pull it in too far, you like break the little circuit board or whatever that you were trying to place into the...
Or the screw that you're trying to hold, to place into place.
Right.
It just goes... Flink,
the soldering iron.
I like the idea of having tactile sort of things, because we don't get to use tools that much and have... Normally, it's, you sort of just pick something up and throw it.
Yeah.
But if
I
you've got
like that idea.
Extra bit of squeeze, so you don't even have the thing that you're picking up. You've got something else in your hands. Yeah. So you're never going to drop the tweezers, but you can squeeze the tweezers too hard. You can do it too soft. And...
You could have a button to drop the tweezers. Maybe that's one of the ways you sabotage the inventions. No, okay. So the real gameplay then is you get the job at Wayne Tech, and obviously to start, you're just building whatever they build for Gotham. iPhones. I don't know. Maybe that's too difficult to start off with.
But then you get this order for like this grappling gun, and it's just you're making just one.
That's right. Yeah. You see the orders come through, and every now and then you get you get a weird one, or it's just for like one thing, but it costs like $30 million. And you figure you're like, all right, this is my chance. And initially, you don't even get to build them, because you're not high enough up the ranks.
You just build the prototype. So
maybe you build sections of them or something.
Yeah.
But at the start, you can't do enough to like fully sabotage stuff. So yeah, like the grappling gun comes in, and you're building the trigger, like just the trigger. But it's like there's not much that can actually go wrong with it. It's like, because if you do it completely wrong, it's just you failed, and someone else will do it, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you can like adjust slightly so that it's harder for him to pull it.
He's in the midst of battle. He's, oh God, I'm squeezing one of those, stress things.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's really got to put a lot of pounds of force onto it for it to fire. But he manages, and he can improvise. He gets away. But maybe you get some sort of score or after math report of like, the report coming back down, next time could you give it a bit of a lighter trigger?
The client. It's always the client.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea that it's like the client requests that next time the trigger isn't like a handbrake that's just been serviced by you know how tight those bastards are.
Yeah, I like that. And so, all right, so you go through different things. The end game, like, you get respected enough in the company that you're now, like, building the key components or the whole things, and then just, like, a design for a bat suit comes in, and you just install all sorts of... You just install fucking, like...
trackers and all this sort of stuff, so you can actually
I was just going to say, you literally just install syringes in it that when he puts it on, it injects him with cyanide and he dies. Like, you've got that far.
No, but I think your whole thing is that you need a Rube Goldberg machine, because that's how your parents died. So
so it has to be this, like, insanely complicated setup.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And so the game ends with Batman dying, and that's it.
No, Batman escapes. Like,
Oh.
how else are you going to have a sequel? You know that Batman's not going to kill
Robin.
Maybe. In your Rube Goldberg machine, you kill Commissioner Gordon.
Okay.
And that sets up the sequel.
Right. Now Batman's after you.
Yeah.
Now he knows this new villain, the Goldberg.
The Invenger. The Goldberg. Yeah, Goldberg. They just call him Goldberg. Because all his things seem to be Rube Goldberg related.
Yeah. He can't make anything that's just simple.
I put the suit on and this ball bearing started running down my suit.
Down my chest, bounced off my knee, hit me in the eye.
Blinded me for just a second.
Yeah, just a second, a Joker punched me in the face.
Oh, awesome.
Right.
Let's click again.
Installation.
Jamboree.
Okay. Jamboree. What's the definition of jamboree? I know it's sort of some sort of...
I'm thinking like a scout get together.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. Were you in Scouts?
No.
I was in Scouts, but I never got to go to any jamborees. It literally is just in scouting, I think.
Cool.
A large gathering of scouts who rally at a national or international level. No, there must be. Is that really it?
Okay. So I think this is like one of those designing games where you're designing like the newest and greatest scout location that has like high ropes courses and
okay. So it's sort of a high tech, well, not high tech necessarily, but like a camping site.
Specifically only for scouts, though.
Well, maybe, or maybe they're just like your high priority. That's the get. Like if you end up being able to host the jamboree, then you're in the big times for your camping ground.
And so kind of like that newest version of SimCity that came out that you were sort of building in areas with other people.
Okay.
In this, you've got basically kind of like in the theme. What was the theme park? Was it that you basically, the more sort of stuff that you build, the more pull you get for certain groups.
Right. Yeah.
And the more groups that actually like your camp over someone else's, the more likely they are to vote for your park.
Actually, when I was back in my really messing around with AI days and stuff, I had an idea to build like a campground simulator, which this sounds like. Just because I love, like, one of the things I love doing when developing, and I have none of the skills necessarily to actually do it properly, but just that idea of just like little people going around doing their things, and they've all got their own little needs. And did you ever play? Was it Sim Golf? Sid Meier's. No, it's not Sid Meier. Will Wright, I guess. It was Max's one, I think. No. Anyway, it was very much you build out these golf courses, but like the little people come on and they literally just like play your golf holes and walk around, and they're either happy with it or not based on different things. So yeah, I like that for a campground where depending on where you put the campsites and the roads and the trails, you could put it near where fucking bears live, and that will appeal to the people who are more into like roughing it and thrill seeking, but like the families aren't going to be like, those campsites are going to be less appealing to families. And if you put them close to the water, then it will be appealing to families, but I don't know, kids might drown. or you're having to like battle off between the fishermen and the families. Like, you've got a lot of different.
And you've got to be very careful about the lake that has Jason Voorhees in it.
Exactly. Well, you can have all sorts of like great Easter eggs like that for sure. Yeah, that's like, in SimCity you have the disasters. There's a serial killer disaster. I mean, maybe one of the things, like, because I'm thinking in the style of campgrounds here where it's just like you book a site and you put your tent on it or whatever, but maybe you can have a section of it which is literally like a summer camp area, and that that's an investment. But if you build it right and appeal to those people, then they're going to come. And then the scout thing is like they're kind of the cross section, like because they're interested in all sorts of things and they want all the different badges. It could actually be based on their badges and stuff. Like you get badges, maybe like that's how it defines how appealing to the scouts for their different badges it is, right? It's like you're the number one where scouts want to get their canoeing badge because you've set it up really nicely along the river or whatever.
But you really suck for orienteering because there's literally no landmarks around for them to actually use.
Exactly. Like and all the trails
and there's no high trees, so your high ropes course is literally like 13 feet off the ground.
Totally, yeah. Well, because you have to cut down the trees to make your like summer camp log cabins, right? Like, I like that a lot. There's a lot of different ways you can go with that, and it could sort of be leading up to, or it's like punctuated by the jamboree each year or whatever it is, and you may or may not get scouts there, or you might get like the lesser troops or whatever. Like there's different scout troops, and you get the dodgy ones coming who just sit around and drink beer the whole time.
Yeah.
Even though what age of scouts, like 13, I don't know. Whatever.
It's all the leaders and stuff. Like after the scouts go to bed,
right? Of course, yeah.
Then there's just debauchery.
Yes, totally. And you get your debauchery badge.
And then, what's a good serial killer name? Mason Sawknees.
Jesus.
So Mason Sawknees comes up.
Yeah,
and,
out of the lake. Yep.
Up out of the lake, wearing... What sort of mask should he be wearing? Oh, football helmet. So football helmet. So it's not related to a certain other Friday the 12th or whatever it is.
And just slaughters everyone.
Cuts them off at the knees.
Oh,
hence
saw
the saw knees.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Especially those guys or ladies down on their knees.
What? Is this the debauchery coming up again?
Debauchery.
Okay. All right, I think we should click again on that.
3 to 1 click.
Affection.
Mole.
Spelled how?
M-A-L-L.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Mal.
Oh, no, whatever. Does anyone... I don't know. We don't really use the term mole here so much.
No.
Although it's picking up a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I live with a Canadian that I hear it.
Yeah. Well, anytime I hear the word mall, I think of Robin Sparkles. Let's go to the mall.
Yes. Okay, so affection mall. So, I mean, this has got to be high schoolers again, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Some sort of... I mean, visual novel would be the obvious one, so let's not do that. Let's put some game.
Okay.
Let's put some fucking gameplay in there, right? Like,
so the food court is where everything goes down usually.
of course, totally.
So, if you remember the movie Mallrats, how they were talking about how you've got a cookie or a pretzel place that's off the beaten track, that's not part of the food court. Yeah. I like the idea that it's basically you're an offshoot.
Okay.
From the food court, and you're trying to get all the teenagers to come to your area, so you can like
so through marketing and stuff,
through sign spinners, and here's the cool thing.
Spinners.
No, sign spinners. You've seen how that works,
but they also have a fidget spinner as well. To really add to that millennial, I don't know, whatever. Okay, yeah, go on.
Okay, so yes, you've got the you just got the offshoot guy who's trying to get everyone to come up to their place. I like the idea that maybe he walks around, sort of dresses up as you can dress your character up as like one of the cool hip teenagers.
Wait, so is this an adult?
Yeah, it's an adult.
Right, so it's bloody Steve Buscemi, like, what's up, cool teens or whatever.
Yeah. From 30 Rock.
Yeah, is that what it was? I just see the meme. Okay, so is this a matter of of having to learn then like what the teens are into at any point
I
in
think so.
time, and you always end up being behind, right? Because stuff changes so quickly, the trends change, so you have to balance that up against. You have to.
I know that we always go to dialogue puzzles, but I like the idea that you've got like dialogue in which you can slip in the right lingo in.
But it has to all be procedurally generated, right?
Yeah.
Like it's procedurally generated teen lingo. We'll hire some sort of linguist who can set it up in some semi-realistic way of like shortening words or adding things to words or just like putting random words and descriptors in there. So yeah, you have to go and talk to teens without letting on that you're an adult. So you really have to listen, and you pick up on like the fact that teens are now saying, "Oh, well, that's so cloudy," to mean good.
And then 3 minutes later, cloudy now means bad.
Well, that's it. Well, that's it, and it does change, and that's randomly generated too. Like how long these fads and things stick around for, and so there's also procedurally generated fads of just like now we're all into fushigi. Fushigi balls. Or,
if you don't know what fushigi balls are, just watch Labyrinth, and what David Bowie does is fushigi.
There you go. We're all into cod pieces. It's just actually a Labyrinth revival going through the teen population.
When I think of cod pieces, I just think of Blackadder.
Well, there you go. It's all retro, right? It's all the 80s stuff coming back into style.
Yep.
So yeah, you have to, and then I guess you then make signage and stuff also that, or
you got to come up with like
viral
slogans
videos
and viral videos, and you can just it's all about getting all the teen couples to come to your pretzel stand or whatever it is.
Well, I think it has to be something that's really not appealing to teens. It's like Werther's Originals or something. Just all Werther's Originals. Just granny candy.
Macintosh toffees.
That's it. You're trying to make it cool.
It's literally a place for like high tea, where you get scones and
And
jam
so
and cream
and so that's the end game. Like the winning strategy for this game was replace the sign spinner with a fushigi artist. Put signs up that say our Werthers are cloudy as fleck, and all the teens will think you're cool and cloudy.
They're fly.
Yeah, fly's coming back. All right. On that teenage. Let's click again.
3, 2, 1, click. Stifling.
Rank.
What?
Rank. Yeah. Now, that could be smell based. Like something's really rank.
Mm-hmm.
So stifling could work there too. It's some sort of stifling rank smell. I don't know.
Or do you have to stifle the rank smell?
Yeah, I don't know. Smell based gameplay is difficult to come up with.
Especially because there's virtual reality for the eyes and ears and
somewhat for your touch.
But not
taste
at all
and
for the
smell is falling behind.
Very
unless we
so.
get a Trevor's custom peripheral,
which already exists because we've done this before.
I know. I'm thinking one for taste and smell. It's just like it's this.
It's so bad you can taste it.
It's this 3-pronged thing. Like you shove 2 of them up your nostrils and 1 in your mouth, and
it's got to hit the back of your throat.
No, you like slip it around your tongue. It's actually like got a. It's sort of a rubber thing that you put your tongue in and like is tied around your tongue, and then it plugs into a USB to your virtual reality.
God.
So you got to make sure you got 1 more USB port available.
You just hope the thing doesn't malfunction and too many chemicals get out and just burn the hole right through your tongue.
Yeah, well, when you're playing, when you're playing Hot Chili Eaters Pro 2018, you do have to watch out for that. Don't put the capsicum slider up too high.
And when you're playing battery tester.
That's right. When you're playing battery tester for kids.
Just don't put your tongue on the acidy battery.
That's right. Like, it really adds a new level of stakes to these games when you could just get your tongue zapped off or taste something or smell something really terrible. So I think let's just take this and see where we could take this peripheral to.
Oh no!
If I've
just gone to Birdie Bot's every flavored beans, and it's like, you got a shit flavored one.
You got the shit flavored one, Harry. Thanks, Dumbledore. You're my mentor.
There's nothing. One time I got an earwax flavored one. It's like I just got
ate
shit
feces. Like, fuck off. No, I don't know. So I mean, we've talked about that dog game before. Maybe it's like a full on actually having to smell things. You play a dog. And look, yes, you can lick your own ass in this game. Like, the peripheral's there, we're gonna implement it. So
the thing is, you have to actually contort your body to be able to do it.
You have to literally be able to lick your own asshole. If you could do that, we wouldn't need the peripheral. No, I'm thinking like, yeah, you turn in different directions and the smell gets less or more, and you literally have to use your sense of smell to navigate around. There's no visual.
You're in virtual reality and it's just black.
No. I don't mean there's no visuals. I mean there's no visual like indicators for which way to go and your objective.
Yeah,
it's purely by smell. And you do have an achievement for sniffing other dogs' butts. So. Just be prepared for that.
No. And 3 to 1 click because I don't want to think about that any longer.
Oh man, I thought we were onto something good there.
It was pretty good.
Stir.
Squawk!
Stir, squawk. Is this a game where you play a cockatoo and you have to make a cake?
Okay.
No?
Okay, so it's in VR.
Of course.
The touch controllers
Yep.
control the wings, but you can't use them to actually do anything. You have to use your head to do everything.
Well, what about your feet? Like, cockatoos use their feet a lot.
So are the touch controllers the feet then?
Well, I think it's a combination. Because, like, what's good about the Oculus touch controllers is they've got that capacitive sensing. The Oculus has the capacitive touch sensing, so they can tell when your fingers are on the buttons. So maybe you have to flap your wings just by, like, taking your fingers on and off the buttons. But grabbing things is squeezing or something. Or maybe it's just that the like, trigger buttons are the wings and the grip buttons are your feet or something.
Oh, God. It's like finger Olympics.
Yeah. And so you don't actually move your wings like with based on where your hands are. You're actually moving your feet based on where your hands are.
I know. I kind of like the idea of seeing people actually trying to flap.
Oh, actually having to flap. I mean that. Well, okay, then maybe the wings are literally just based on you flapping your arms around, no buttons at all.
Yep, and the grip is the
grip
talon
is grabbing.
grip.
Yeah, talon grip. Okay. And so I don't know because I don't imagine cockatoos are too good at like hovering. So you're basically having to like swoop down, grab the bag of flour,
just do
like
a quick
flip it in the air.
180 around the bowl, and there you go. That's all you can sort of do.
As long as you can get enough flour in the bowl, and then like crack some eggs somehow. You just drop them in. Fuck the shells. Like that. The easy mode is just drop them in. There is or maybe you can like pierce them with your talons if you're really skilled.
But again, it's that.
Yeah, it's like if you push it all the way, they just clap. Like,
you're flapping and trying to squeeze at the same time.
oh,
and-
yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be fun. I mean, hopefully it'll be fun. It's a game.
Yeah.
But, like, it's going to be a challenge. And just be really careful when you try and get it into the oven, because you don't want to end up in there yourself.
No, although cooked cockatoo may be good for your guests.
Apparently, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they eat that somewhere. I'm sure people have eaten cooked cockatoo.
In outback Australia, probably.
Yeah.
Given that cockatoo is pretty much a national bird, isn't it?
Mm.
Mm.
They're fucking everywhere, though. Wouldn't be hard to get one. All right.
3, 2, 1, click.
Bottom.
Perpetrator. I was hoping that it'd be somewhat good.
Yeah, that was somewhat good. Okay, so we're not making a game about entering an anus.
Oh, what a fun game that would be with Trevor's custom peripheral.
Those things exist already, Trevor. You don't need to invent it. Trevor's custom butt plug.
Yeah, but you attach it to like the internet and it gets wider, or depending.
No,
on
I think
what's
you
in it.
control it with your sphincter. I think it's a controller.
Squeeze,
Yeah, and
squeeze,
you're having to
squeeze.
like break into a bank using only the power of your sphincter.
God.
This episode, man. This is what happens when we get in the same room.
There's a reason why we don't do it every single week.
Yeah, there is, and it's because we write games about anuses. No, well, I was thinking more. Maybe it's some sort of heist game where instead of like getting into the vault from the top, you're getting into the vault from the bottom. Like you have to like dig underground.
Okay. Yep.
To break into this bank or something.
Okay, so you've actually got to, like, you get taught engineering principles.
Okay.
So you got to actually, sort of be able to.
Oh, so it's like a bridge constructor style thing where like there's actual physical forces on all the walls and
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that if you don't actually brace it properly,
okay,
the entire thing's going to collapse and you're going to die.
Maybe you're breaking into a prison. Maybe you're digging into a prison to get somebody out.
I like that.
Just to make that a bit different. And yeah, so you're having to do all your engineering, brace everything. It's a really long way, and so you need to put in amenities for like make sure there's air tunnels, porta potties.
When you said amenities, I'm like, and over to the left is the restroom.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, it's all up to you. It's your game, man, right?
I like the idea that you can put maybe a rail system in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for getting your materials down there and also for, if you want to get them out faster. Because depending on how you build it, you may or may not get caught at different points and have to escape, and they, like, fill it in if you don't sort of...
But
block
I
it off
like
or
the
something.
idea that there's, like, some other activities going on up above. in the
that you have
prison.
to contend with.
So, you've got to be really, really quiet when there's...
Right, okay.
Like, you've got to... You get to this one point and there's, like, I'm just picturing this, like, really, really hard to break through stone, so you have to use, like a jackhammer or something like that. And upstairs, they're playing musical statues.
That's what you... Because the prisoners... No, the guards, I guess. That's what the guards do on their spare time. It's just
the guards or the judges of the prisoners playing musical statues, and so they put the music on you. You can basically be jackhammering away, and then the music stops, and you got to stop. I just had this image.
Trevor, I think your idea of prison, like, I don't know where that comes from. I'm not sure if it's as much like kindergarten as you think.
This one is.
Okay. It's the Ultramax prison for 4-year-olds. Trying to break out your daughter.
It turns out that it's all been in your head. What you're doing is you're really bringing him out of the childcare.
Right. You're just an embattled parent, like trying to get through all the other parents and stuff to get your kid out of this horrible childcare.
I just saw that sort of vision of like these big burly guys like playing musical statues. It just made me
I
laugh.
like the idea that if you treat it seriously. Like the game starts off and you literally think you're trying to break like Billy Knives out of prison.
Yep.
And then you start seeing things like that where these things start creeping in. It's like, why are these people acting like children?
Yep.
And so yeah, it's like musical statues and like they get into tantrums over their food or something, like who was eating what.
Yep.
And start like getting into fights, except it ends up, you see it as like a prison riot, except the way they're behaving is like when it ends, one of them goes off and sulks in a corner or something.
Yeah. Or the whole prison riot and like stabbing and all that sort of stuff starts off with, he stole my lunch.
Yeah, exactly. He called me a doo-doo head.
That
Shiv. Okay. That's, yeah. I'm not sure there's much game there, really, but that's a funny idea. Like, yeah. Well, what's that? I mean, it could be almost, what's that game that's coming out, that co-op one? Is like The Way Out or something? Or the
Yep.
Yeah.
With the two brothers. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Maybe it's like a version of that.
But it's a prequel, so it's you getting in.
digging in and then getting caught. I don't know.
Yep.
All right.
3, 2, 1, click.
Mm-hmm.
Javelin.
Test. So you've got your big javelin test coming up.
I'm
At
just
javelin-
wondering
at
where
javelin
there's
school.
some gameplay in the people who test javelins for air flight, and this one's got splinters galore, but it flies really, really well.
Right. This one punctures human flesh far too easily.
You see a guy at the Olympics and just straight into his knee.
Yeah, but it held, it didn't break, so passes the test. Well, maybe it's a general Olympic sort of thing, or something.
Mm. You're a javelin thrower, and you've got to come up with new ways to pass the drug test.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I don't know. There must be something fun we can do with javelin physics, sort of thing, like some sort of gameplay around having to do something only using a javelin. Maybe you have to like deliver pizzas or something
With a javelin.
with a javelin. You just like insert a javelin into the pizza box and like throw it. I don't know. Or some like
Stuck to the wall.
yeah, exactly.
But it's vertical. Like the pizza's vertical.
Pizza's vertical.
All the toppings are sliding off
Yeah.
because the
And so
people
you
didn't.
fail the test. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the idea of doing menial tasks via javelin. It's kind of like Homer in that episode of The Simpsons when he had the gun, where he was just like turning off the light by shooting it and stuff. So like you can turn off the light, but you have to use a javelin. Like it's like sort of wobbly physics. I don't know if it's VR or if it's more like the guy. I think it was the guy who made Quap. He's got that new game where you like
Getting over it.
yeah, the man in the like cauldron with the sledgehammer.
With the sledgehammer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of picturing almost those not that sort of puzzle game where you're just trying to get forward, but like those sort of maybe it is like side on physics like that with this wobbly javelin physics of some sort.
Yeah.
You have to like pull back to throw it at the right arc to hit things across the room.
Oh, kind of like, remember Skate? How you had to use the right thumbstick to actually
Yeah,
do
like
the
pull
tricks.
and stuff.
So I'm thinking javelin tricks, you can pull back with the right thumbstick. Not pull down, but actually, sort of pull back depending on which way where you're going and it's which way you actually put it depends on the arc.
like how you fling it and stuff. And I mean, javelins kind of have a bit of give to them, right? So you could like thwack things with it Or just poke them.
Quarter circle towards is, sort of...
Yeah, like an
whip.
underhand, like a forehand whip kind of thing. Yeah. We're doing physical motions here, which we don't usually get to do. So it doesn't really work well for podcasts. But I don't know.
Ben doesn't know that I've been filming it the whole time.
There could be something there. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right. Click again.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, click. Takeover.
Stun. So it's a Star Trek game.
Okay.
And the Enterprise
Has been taken over.
is being taken over by tribbles.
No. Ferengi.
Ferengi, okay.
They don't get used enough.
All right.
They basically want to sell, like...
They want to strip the Enterprise for parts.
Yeah. And sell it for...
Gold press
for
platinum.
As much gold press platinum as they can.
All right. So... But
it's basically Elite Forces 3.
Yeah.
So,
no.
So if you remember Elite Forces, both of them were actually based on like Voyager.
I think this is...
So this is after the Voyager.
Yeah,
Voyager
this is a
series
new ship. I think we're creating a new crew.
Yeah. But this particular captain,
yeah,
because I like that it's a captain.
Yeah.
He was, part of the Voyager crew. So that's the reason why he became a captain because he's so experienced in.
So who is it? Are you saying it's a main character or it's just random?
It's a random red
shirt who managed to make their way up to captain.
Yeah,
but they've been through all the Voyager. Adventures.
So maybe
so you throw in all sorts of little references to like.
So
remember that time my old captain turned into a lizard
after going to warp 10.
Yeah, that was weird. Let's not do that.
Remember that time that we didn't kill Neelix and we really should have? Yeah, we should have.
We should have. He's still here. He's still the fucking chef. Like, or whatever. Was he the chef? I don't know.
Yeah, he left in the second last episode or something like that.
Well, he's back somehow. All right, so it's a new crew.
Your first in command keeps on telling you not to go out and like you've set up like a little base.
Yeah.
And your number one keeps on saying, "Oh no, Captain, I really should go in your place."
Yeah, you're the captain. Like you're not supposed to be going on away missions.
Yeah. So the away missions literally being to try and defeat the Ferengi.
Yeah, that's like the overarching thing is there's like a skirmish with the Ferengi that might lead to an all-out war or something because they're getting too greedy.
I like the idea that there's obviously a few more races involved, so it's not just the Ferengi. But it's I don't want it to be like some Romulan or Klingon plot. I want it to be
no. I think it's coming from the like. They got too greedy. They want the Federation tech.
Yeah.
And
it's the best way of getting it.
They want to like take over and create a horribly capitalist society with them at the top.
Yeah.
They're sick of this utopian no money shit within the Federation.
So, gameplay.
Yeah, so is this a first person shooter like Elite Forces? Something else?
I'm thinking,
or is this like a Mass Effect RPG kind of thing with shooter
Mass
elements?
Effect RPG with shooting elements.
That'd be cool.
And like we know that the Enterprise itself, like the ship, is like however many meters long, all that sort of stuff. It's fucking huge. Like there's probably multiple kilometers worth of floor that you could be going through for this. So the idea is that you're in like some cargo hold in the back.
Okay.
And you've got to gradually go in.
The whole game is just them on the ship. I was more picturing that the game was then a broader political thing going on, where at some point, yes, you end up having to fight Ferengi in your ship, but like that's like closer to the end. Then at that point,
I like the idea. It's kind of like the idea that you're at the back, and you've got like they have so many of the critical systems that they've sort of taken over.
Actually, that could be alright because then it'd be a bit more like an episodic. Like it'd feel like an episode of Star Trek.
Yeah,
right. It's a little less broad. It's a bit more of a narrow focus.
That in the intro, you have like a flashback, sort of almost sort of thing
maybe it's
to like a Vietnam War, and what it is he's playing it in the holodeck. Like,
Okay.
but
Okay.
he's looking
The
at
whole
the
sort of
guerrilla
thing.
warfare and how they built tunnels and all that sort of stuff. So the idea comes in that he can start using Jeffrey's tubes to sort of like
Okay.
get in and take.
I like this. All right, so I think it starts. I like the idea of this being an imaginary series, like new Star Trek series.
Yep.
And so
Set
it's
after Voyager.
After Voyager, and so it starts with a previously on,
And you see,
and so it sets up the idea with the Ferengi, like that there's tensions with the Ferengi and blah blah blah. And then, the opening is like a somewhat whimsical thing where, this captain is like obsessed with the Vietnam War in the 20th century.
Yeah.
And you play a bit.
but he's playing because there was no winners in the Vietnam War. He's actually playing on Vietnam's side, so he's actually running through tunnels.
Yeah.
And sort of going, it was really fascinating. My ancestors and
So there's like voiceover going, or maybe he's he's going through this with another crew member or something.
So I'm wondering, should it be the
things.
captain, or should the captain again be female and he's first in command? Because I
Okay.
kind of like the idea that you don't have to explain why you're going on all the away missions.
Yeah.
The captain sort of tells you what you're doing.
Yeah, well, maybe sometimes the captain does come, and that's when you get to put in. Then you're telling the captain, like, no, I'm pretty sure, like, I should be doing this. You should be captaining the ship, and she's just like, nope, I'm coming. We're gonna kick these Ferengis' butts.
And
Ferengi
she's
butts.
like the best shot that you've ever seen, and she can really hold her own, and like
well, that's it. Like, well, maybe you get to bring different crew members. As you play
I
through
kinda like
this,
the
you
idea
run
that-
into because I think the Ferengi attack the ship while you're in the holodeck, right?
playing Parisi squares.
What? No, I think it's while you're in
It's
the
while
Vietnam
you're in
thing.
the Vietnam thing. Okay.
I think like suddenly you're like in the bush somewhere and things like there's an earthquake. And there's not meant to be an earthquake in this part of the simulation.
The whole thing just pauses, and and
you're like about to get killed by someone.
about to be run through with like
Yeah.
a bayonet or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like just stops,
It just freezes, and you hear the computer voice like
Captain to
Captain
first
to number one.
Captain, and that's the thing. You could just call it number one. Because that's all.
Yeah.
Like you can name your character whatever, but they only get called
Well, that's
number
it
one.
again. Maybe it's maybe Mass Effect style. You get to choose.
Sex and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
I like this idea a lot. And so I think there are elements of Mass Effect like conversation stuff in there. The first thing you do is make your way, from the holodeck to a section of engineering or something, right, and meet up with the head engineer, and that's like where that character gets introduced. But they're locked out of engineering, and so there's a quest there that or at least a mission. I don't know if it's full on wide-ranging quests, but
I'm thinking the first half of the game is on the ship. When you get control of the ship, then you get to take it to
taking it back to the Ferengi to.
Then you can start going off to get maybe the Klingon homeworld to try and get them their
Get
help
some allies,
and going to Vulcan and going to Earth and just trying to get as many allies sort of together to go take out
or at least to subdue the Ferengi.
So
Stunned.
I like the idea that maybe the Doctor has come up with like I'm picturing it's the hologrammatic Doctor from Voyager.
Why wouldn't it be?
Get
Robert Picardo back in there.
Obviously there's a new version and Andy Dick played that, but
was it Andy Dick?
I believe so. Yeah. But the captain, she really loves the
classic Doctor,
the classic version,
or it could be a new Doctor. Like,
yeah, I know. I like the idea of it being Bob.
We'll
Bob
get
Picardo.
fucking I don't know, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch. I like the idea that
Bumbleduck,
the
Klimber Bonk.
that the Doctor comes up with a way of actually destroying the gold around the gold press latinum, so that it makes it worthless.
Right.
It basically eats away at the gold, but then infects the gold press latinum with like this.
Right.
Basically making the currency worthless.
Okay. It's like a virus for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, and I've sort of taken it from Rick and Morty of,
It just turns to 1 to a 0.
It's worth exactly 0 of itself.
I think we should make a Bitcoin reference. It's just like it ended up costing too much money to transact this. I really like that. I think that would be a really fun Star Trek game, and there haven't been any good Star Trek games in ages.
No,
so.
and the one big problem that I had with the new Star Trek Discovery, it was actually set before.
I know they keep going back.
It's like,
just
sorry, but how are you discovering things that we don't already know?
Yeah,
it's got to be set afterwards.
Yeah, they really need to jump forward again because they've had 2 series in a row now where they've gone backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like Enterprise and then Discovery.
Enterprise was further backwards than what Discovery is, but still, it's like you're discovering things that we already know.
Next one's just going to be set in like present day. It's like, here's how the Federation was formed.
That's right. There was a fucking war. Okay, we've got time for one more.
One more? All right, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, click.
Vice.
Proficiency.
Very proficient at my vices.
So
or are you thinking...
I like it being set maybe around Miami Vice.
The TV show?
Yeah, the TV show.
I don't know anything about it.
Basically, they are drug cops.
Okay.
So the idea that there's a new drug kingpin in town.
Yeah.
And he's very proficient in...
Okay. So what sort of game are we talking?
I see it as maybe a police procedural. So you're going out, you're talking to witnesses of... And
it's like The Wire or something.
Yeah, and
like
you're trying
gritty,
to...
gritty police procedural, or are you thinking more Law and Order?
Yeah, gritty, having to investigate... maybe there's a death from a new drug.
Okay.
And you're sort of investigating that. And that's
weasel poppers.
And you can have sort of like, yes, you find the dealer that supplied this guy. But that only leads you down
I
one
like
sort
the
of
idea
place.
of bringing in Shadow of Mordor's system, but with drug dealers.
And
so you've got like the
eyes.
tree. Yeah, you've got like the tree of drug dealers, and when you beat them down, you can either like bring them over to your side as an informant, or arrest them, or kill them.
Yep. How cool would that be?
That'd be really cool. And then the whole thing with them, like, if they get away, they remember you. Like, you start building up this whole thing where it's like, oh shit. Now, and it also affects how you can go undercover, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go up against someone and don't beat them, then you now can't like go undercover in their area.
You can go undercover, but the thing is, if they see you, then they're
that's it. Yeah, it's going to be riskier. Yeah. That's cool, actually. I like that.
So I kind of like.
Also,
the idea.
it's still set in Mordor. No.
I'm just seeing Law and Order now.
And then it's just orcs. You're like walking in up to these orcs. It's like, did you guys see? Have you seen this man? Have you seen this fucking, I don't know, hobbit?
The ringleader's a hobbit.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, no, back to reality. I kind of like the idea that this is just some white dude. Just some plain run-of-the-mill sort of guy.
Okay.
That you'd never suspect.
That does make the most sense for undercover work, I suppose.
No. The actual drug dealer guy.
The drug dealer is, okay.
I kind of like the idea.
Is he like a white-collar guy then? Is he like running this from his fucking...
Yeah.
High-rise apartment or something? Taking advantage of all his low income...
Basically, his privilege.
Yeah.
That's why he's so proficient in everything.
Because he had it handed to him on a silver platter.
And you play some hard-as-nails black female detective.
Okay.
I like the idea that she's, the no-nonsense, hasn't had anything handed to her, has had to fight for everything.
I watched Keanu the other day. So you basically, what was it? What was their name?
Yeah.
High.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah, anyway.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I like those two. I just showed Ben right next to me. I had my Key and Peele, the complete series DVD.
It's on stand. Watch it there. Yeah, okay. So Yeah, I like that. So you get some stuff where you're just on the beat, like going around, sort of roughing people up to try to get info out of them, and then once you get enough info, so you've got this like similar to the Shadow of Mordor. You've got the tree; they're all blacked out until you get information
about and unlike that, you can't just go, I just want the top. Yeah,
no, that's
like,
it.
You have to actually
go up the tree.
Have to go up the tree,
and it's not just as easy as press Y to intimidate or whatever. Or you have to get some leverage on them.
You have to ask the right questions, and if you don't ask the right questions and don't intimidate them in the right way, they could just start lying to you. And that's the thing. And the idea is that it becomes sort of like
that. And then you have to compare it. Then
to corroborate.
You have to corroborate it with other people's. Oh, that's cool. So you're literally going around. Oh, I like this a lot. See, because you're going around, and you're just getting all the low level ones, right? And that can just be a third person kind of beat 'em up sort of, even similar sort of combat like to Shadow Mordor or the Batman stuff, but a bit more like down to earth. Obviously, not necessarily flipping over their heads and shit, but a bit of just interesting combat, using different tools, using the environment. You've got a partner there, and then when you get the guy who is your target, you've got this interrogation mode, and you can use leverage. You can maybe use things that other people have told you to like show your hand of, well, I know this, and so they can either just completely deny it, or they see, oh, well, you've got the information anyway, but you might end up getting a little bit more out of them.
Yeah.
Or, and again, Shadow Mordor style, they can have their strengths and weaknesses that you may or may not know, but like some of them are really susceptible to intimidation. So if you literally just like rough them up and threaten to punch their lights out, like they're going to give you information. But other ones are more susceptible to a deal. Like if you offer them immunity, then they're more likely to give you information. And if you beat them up too much, then they're just going to shut down.
I'm just wondering now, do we take it in the way that, there are consequences for your actions? So
I think so. If you fuck up something with one low-level drug dealer, you can't get anything out of them from that point. Well, or maybe you get another chance, but it's going to be harder.
Yeah.
And now you know a bit more information about them, but they're going to have people around them,
if
more protection.
I like the idea that everything's open. If you want to start going around roughing up people, you can. But the thing is, you do it too much, and then you get internal affairs starting to look into you. So the idea is you can't just go around shooting people.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be taken off the case.
Yeah. But that's really interesting because
can you then go plainclothes and you're really trying to, you've got a personal reason as to why you want to.
I think, and so again, I think the whole tree should be procedurally generated.
Mm-hmm.
All their strengths and weaknesses, who's at the top, who's working for who, or who has connections to who. And so if
there's just some story missions that are
but again,
sort of Shadow of Mordor like.
Yeah, but you could build...
the mission can literally be get 3 third level corroborations of
and
of
you
this
can build stuff
evidence.
up around and just incorporate the procedurally generated people into story-based stuff for sure. But I like the systems-based stuff, and I like the idea that if you I'm comparing to it a lot, but I really like that system in this context. If you screw up the interrogation of someone, they might shut down completely, but that means you've lost that link in the chain, right?
Yep.
Unless you take them out.
And you maybe, spread some other lies around to some of the other...
Well, possibly, but I'm saying if you
through your CI network, maybe that you've built
up. Well, you could, yeah. But if you take that person out, then they need to promote someone else, and that person could be one of your CIs. And now you've unlocked that link in the chain up to the next level in the hierarchy.
And you can start.
Yeah, or it might just be someone
I
is
like the
susceptible
idea
to
that
a deal.
you don't know how many links there are in the chain.
No, I don't think you see that whole field initially. You see a bunch of low-level people that you're aware of at the beginning. And even that, it's not like the whole ones at that level.
You find out from this first case that this person is connected to this drug. And then you find some other case that you're investigating the same drug is found there, and therefore you can create that.
Well,
linkage.
okay, and I like this idea that you start out and all you know is there's this new drug on the streets, but it's turned up everywhere immediately, so you know there's like big time.
So you've got like Mr. X who believe,
and then who knows how many links, and you don't know anything, but you have some areas, and so you literally have to stake out. You have to go on a stakeout until you see a drug deal going down, and that's how you get your first chain in the link in the chain. Is then you go over and you bust that person, and based on how well the interrogation goes, you might start making your way into the network.
So it's you have to choose the right area to stake out, because if you chose the wrong area based on the evidence, and it should all be evidence based and procedurally generated that. You hear and you see grapevine that.
Yeah, I think you get reports to begin with, and as you start revealing more and more of the network, you can do other things like go undercover, and going undercover could reveal like a whole section of it if you do well, right? It could reveal a whole section of this network and the people involved. And the network might not just be people, right? It might be locations that they're working from, and that could change as well. Like if they find out you know about a location, then they get out of there before you can bust them. So you have to like choose the right time to bust them. And so you're basically creating this really interesting like graph, basically connecting all these locations and places with tensions in different ways.
I kind of like the idea that in your office you literally have a board that has the strings attached.
Yes.
That you literally have to like draw a string from one to one.
Well, I think it'd probably do that automatically. For the most part. Well, maybe it's
you have to actually create the linkages.
Yeah, maybe you have to create the linkages in some way. There'd probably be some helpers and like...
Link this to this through this testimony that from your journal. And you're just an impressive record keeper that,
you keep journal stuff of it, like records of it. Oh my God, you did it again. I want to play this. I want to play the fuck out of this. That'd be so cool. That's it. Those systems work really well.
It's because no one else has used the Nemesis system, and it sucks that they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's cool. Well, it's not just specifically the Nemesis system, although we have stolen copiously from it here. It's just that idea of building procedural systems onto an otherwise not particularly procedural game, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't played Shadow of War, but Shadow of Mordor. Like, the world is the same every time. Everything's in the same place.
But your stories are different.
But your story is a bit different just because of those that you interact with, all the people in that all your nemesis. I think there is a lot of place for using more procedural systems like that, and where the whole game doesn't have to.
If you went to play it again, because it's a fully randomized system, your white collar, well, it may not even be white collar every time. It just so happens that it's white collar.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like it'd be a bit more difficult because there's still going to be this storyline running through it, right?
Can be maybe this different name for the guy each time.
Yeah. I think
always looks the same. Always lives somewhere different. The bases of operation are always different.
Yeah, that's it. Like you've got this whole city, maybe just a fictional city with different boroughs and different areas and, different chances then of certain types of locations. Crimes occurring or you're more likely to have the labs that are creating the drug here, but they're more likely to be selling them in these sorts of areas based on different things. Well, and maybe that's randomized too, based on crime rates and stuff. It's actually not the same every time.
It's cool.
I like it a lot.
Cool. Well,
all right,
that is more than enough
with that one, I think. So we will finish up there.
Thank you for joining me tonight, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for having me over. It's fun to do it in person occasionally.
Yeah.
If you want to find us online, go to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and we are BitstormCast on all of those. We have a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Bitstorm. Sometimes we do listener click pictures on there.
Go back about 5 months and you'll see one.
We are also on Podchaser at podchaser.com/Bitstorm.
Ben is wearing a lovely Podchaser shirt that no one can actually see.
That's right.
But
or buy yet.
Or buy yet.
This is limited edition.
I've been told that I'm getting one of the next.
You'll get one of the next batch. Well, I'm not sure what the plan is around that.
It's mainly because I'm lending him a gaming PC. Well,
so I can
a
actually play
PC
some of
that
these
he can
recent
do
games.
something with. We're on iTunes where you can rate, review, subscribe. We have a website, bitstormcast.com. I'd like to plug the AJPN. Those awesome people out there at the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network.
Gaming Podcast Network.
Yeah, they're just amazing people. Go check them out. Just search hashtag AJPN on Twitter or look for Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. And check out everything there.
Yeah.
We'd also like to thank Kuradust for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
As would I.
Mainly because we're actually in the room that a
lot of that was recorded and written in. Well, rewritten in anyway.
Rehearsed
in.
Yeah. Rehearsed in, yeah. That was back when we first got this house, and that was 9 years ago.
Jeez.
Nearly 10, 9.5, something like that.
Thank you for joining us this week on Bitstorm.
Thank you for joining me in the Bit Cave, Ben.
I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. Beat down that CI.